My name is Ashvini and I am a chronic mood reader. Welcome back. I mentioned before that I am a mood reader, which means I have maybe 2 or 5 books going at any given time because I have to read based off of what I'm feeling in that moment when I feel like reading. So I wanted to share what I've been reading this month and what I'm enjoying so far and what I'm not enjoying so far. So first we have Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. And I've mentioned before that I have finished One Dark Window, which is the first book in the duology. I really like her writing style, and the story is like, it's dark fantasy, it's dark gothic fantasy, so it's really moody and gloomy and perfect for fall time. I do want to say that I've been trying to get through this for several months only because I kept getting distracted and reading other things, but I'm still enjoying this. I feel like I'm dragging it on because I don't want it to end, and right now it's just very stressful. It's just very stressful, and if you've read this series, you know what I'm talking about. This book is just stress at this point, and I'm not even halfway through, but I'm enjoying the stress, if that makes sense. Right now, my reading schedule for this is whenever I take the train for work, I'll be reading this on the train there and back, and sometimes during lunch if I am eating alone, which is often. Which is why it's taking me a while to get through this, because I'm savoring it and just nursing this story, but I'm really enjoying it. Next, we have The Priory of the Orange Tree. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll say more. This is the chunkiest book I have read to date. And I'm saying read lightly. I'm saying it with an asterisk because I gave up on reading this. I did start and stop it a million times. Okay, exaggerating. Not a million times, maybe twice. But there's just so many names and there was just so much going on. And this is a high epic fantasy, which is why it's so much more in depth than a usual like fantasy or romantasy. That doesn't mean it's a bad book. It just means it caters to a very few select readers who actually enjoy that specific genre of fantasy. And I don't know if I'm one of those readers personally, because I kind of gave up on reading this and I ended up getting the audiobook instead, because I have really long drives to work and back. I spend maybe 2.5 to 3 hours a day commuting. We won't get into that. It's a sensitive topic. We won't get into that. So far, it's taken me 3 weeks to get to almost the end of this audiobook. And as much as I want to say it is the greatest thing ever, because yes, dragons and fantasy and there's sapphic romance and all of that, but I feel like it just drags too much for me. There's so many conversations and characters that I don't understand why they're necessary at all. But I can see how this would be really good as like a Game of Thrones style HBO production. Like as a show, it would be amazing. But reading it is a chore for me personally. But I'm near the end and the story's really good, so I'm definitely gonna finish it. But would I recommend this? Not to everybody. If you have the patience and the courage and the determination to get through a big read like this, do it. Because the story is worth it. It's just a huge time commitment. I wanted to switch up my genres a little bit, and I started reading Brotherless Night. If you don't know what this is about the civil war that took place in Sri Lanka a few decades ago. I will say, I only got through this much, okay? I only got through a tiny bit, and I'm already like, anything political, there are different opinions when it comes to reading political books. And personally, I don't like how this author is already portraying some characters. And I don't know if it's intentional just to kind of grasp attention. Right now, I would not recommend this book. It's just a very sensitive topic for me and my community. And I've heard that this author also tends to use real stories but change or like fictionalize events to shift the narrative in a certain way, and I don't agree with that. So I don't know if I'll be continuing. I bought this book on a whim, and I thought I would give it a try, but part of me is just like, don't do it. So I'm not gonna recommend this book. I'll let you know if I finish it and if I have thoughts at that point, but I would not recommend this book at this moment. And last but not least, My Darling Ali Hazelwood. This is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. It is a romance book, and if you know anything about Ali Hazelwood's books, she typically writes STEM inspired love stories, and they're all standalones, but they're mostly fluffy romances, very cute, very science-based, but also like will they, won't they? Anyways, very cute. The writing isn't like amazing, but I love the stories. They're just really like enjoyable. I don't know why I'm out of breath right now. This story is a little bit different from what she usually writes, only because it does touch on more heavy topics. I think about like food, what's that word? I want to make sure I say it right because it's a very sensitive topic. Issues such as grief, food insecurity, and child neglect. So some heavy themes in this one, not as light and fluffy as the others, but the build up to the romance is always so cute, and I'm enjoying it so far, and I really like the characters so far. And if you know, there are no galaxy leggings yet, or nothing of the sort yet. And surprisingly, no cats yet, because every single one of her books I read before had a cat in it. This one has a dog, so we'll see if that means something at some point or if a cat will show up. So these are the books that I'm currently reading. Let me know if you've read any of these and if you have any of your own thoughts, because very curious to see how my opinions align with yours. If you follow me on TikTok, you would have seen that I posted about The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, and I did love it. It is a really fun romantasy read, and I really like Rachel Gillig's writing, especially in the One Dark Window duology. In this, her writing is definitely different. I think she's trying to fit into the mold of romantasy, and it is a bit tropey. But by the time I finished it, I did have a good time reading it. I found myself wanting to keep reading without putting the book down every other chapter, like what normally happens with more poorly written romantasy books. But this one had me sat, mainly because of the gargoyle. I love him. I feel like for such a dark fantasy style romantasy book, having that little Disney coded gargoyle character was, at times it was off-putting. It was a little jarring, but at the same time, I really loved him, and I think he really made this book what it was. And I know every romantasy MMC has the same vibe, the dark, mysterious, broody with the sad past, but he has a soft spot for the one girl who he can't seem to get off his mind, which is exactly the MMC in this book, but I love him. I don't know what it is. I know that they're all very copy-pasty, but there's a reason why. I like the small cast of characters that this centered around. I will say, I didn't even notice until I got through maybe 2/3 of the book that every single person is white. It didn't like click to me what was missing, but every single character is white. That's how I'm remembering it, at least. But I don't remember if I read maybe a character description incorrectly or something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm very confused as to why every character had to be white. In any fantasy story, in any fictional world where you can make up the peoples of any land, you couldn't get more creative than tan-skinned, charcoal-lined, dark eyes, golden skin, but he's still white. And all the side characters had a different colored eyes. They had different colored hair, different heights and ages. And this certainly isn't a real place. This certainly isn't Europe. And there's multiple hamlets in this world where it's a different type of people that live there in terms of their jobs, I guess, or their roles in society, but none of them are described as being non-white. And all these little hamlets or cities, everyone still looks the same, so I don't know. Even in One Dark Window, as I'm talking about this, I'm realizing in One Dark Window, are there any non-white characters? I have to look into this now because now it's really bothering me because I really enjoy the stories. So maybe I won't recommend this just yet. So I did want to share a mini book haul. I ordered these from BookOutlet.ca. This is not sponsored. I just really love that site because they have such great deals on books. They did have a physical location a few hours from where I live, where I visited once. And this was way back during the pandemic times. but I think they've since closed down their physical location, but they do have a website and they have sales. I think they had a $7 paperback sale a few months ago. I could be wrong, but I know they do have really great sales, but even without the sales, their prices are really great, so I recommend checking them out if you live in Canada. Books are not cheap, especially the new and up-and-coming ones, and especially when you pay full price for them. Anyways, let me show you what I got. That was not as satisfying as I thought it would be. Here is what we have. This is the first time I'm seeing them, and I hope they're in good condition because I feel like they've been tossed around a bit. But, ooh, we have A Dowry of Blood, which I've heard great things about. This is a vampire romance, I believe. Ooh, Bride of Dracula. This is perfect for fall. Saved from the brink of death by a mysterious stranger, Constanta is transformed from a medieval peasant into a bride fit for an undying king. But when Dracula draws a cunning aristocrat and a starving artist into his web of passion and deceit, Constanta realizes that her beloved is capable of terrible things. Ooh. Finding comfort in the arms of her rival consorts, she begins to unravel their husband's dark secrets. Ooh. Bonds forged by blood can be broken only by death. You have my attention. Next, we have, ooh, I was looking forward to this as well. This is Air, or Hair, if you're one of those people, but Air by Saba Tahir. I just purchased An Ember in the Ashes series as well by the same author, which I haven't read yet, but I've heard great things. And I've heard great things about this too. So hopefully they live up to the hype, and I can't wait to dive into this one. An orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring an empire to its knees. This is a fantasy, I believe, with a romantasy subplot, and I'm really excited to see how the story goes. I always love taking off the dust jacket. Ooh, this feels so nice. This feels so... Next, we have Lore of the Wilds, and I've heard great things about everything I buy. Obviously, that's why I buy them. But Lore of the Wilds, I've heard great things about because it is a very cozy, enchanting type of fantasy. Oh, sorry, romantasy. It's a stunning romantasy debut about an enchanted library, two handsome fae, and one human who brings them all together. I always read any fae-related stories with a grain of salt because sometimes they're just too overdone, but I'm looking forward to the story. An abandoned library with a deadly enchantment, a fae lord who will do anything to get in, a brave human woman, a collector of stories, willing to risk it all for a taste of knowledge and power. This is going to be another fall read, I'm sure. Next, we have a book that I asked Bookstagram to recommend me. Basically, I asked for a good moody read for the fall. And my girl Kimberly came through with this recommendation, Vampires of El Norte. I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm so sorry. Please correct me. This is also a vampire romance, but the best part is it is set in the 1840s in Mexico. And I think it's a Western. It's a supernatural Western. That's really cool. I haven't read anything like that ever. When the United States invades Mexico in 1846, the two are brought abruptly together on the road to war. I feel like this is gonna hit the feels heavy, but also I feel like it's going to be really beautiful and worth it. I will definitely share once I read it. The next two books I have is part of a series. I only was able to find the first two books of the series on BookOutlet.ca, but this has been very, very long overdue. I am talking about the Legendborn series by Tracy Dion, and I do also have Bloodmarked, which I believe is the second book in the series. I have heard so many amazing things about this series. One of my mutuals on Bookstagram, Brie, talks about this series a lot, and I have just been waiting for the right moment to pick these up, and I think the right moment has come. I believe this is a YA fantasy. There's lots of magic, flying demons, secret societies, mages, society secrets. There's a lot going on in this series. I can't wait. Personally, I feel like this is going to be a banger, and I will definitely be posting about this as well once I'm done. Books like these, like all the ones I just showed you, remind me that I'm a slow reader, and it pisses me off because I wish I had more time and patience to sit and just finish a book within like 2 or 3 days, but I don't. So I'll be getting through them fairly slowly, but I will be getting through them. And I can already feel that my next favorite read or series is in this pile of books somewhere. That was my haul. So let's go through how many we got. So we have the Legendborn series, which is 2 books. We have Vampires of El Norte. We have Lore of the Wilds. We have Air. And we have A Dowry of Blood. So that makes 6 books. Guess how much I spent on this? Guess how much I spent on all of this with tax included? 6 books in Canada, $70. That's with shipping and tax included. $70 for 6 books. That's insane. At the end of the day, books are a want and not a need. You don't need to own a copy of every single book you want to read. Libraries do exist, but I think everybody has the right to buy a book if they want to buy a book. And who doesn't love a cheaper option? So BookOutlet.ca, check it out. And let me know if you pick up any of these because I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. I just realized they're upside down. This is heavy. I finally got a vlogging camera, which is why the quality of this clip is significantly better than the last one. I'm trying really hard to move past the reflection of the ring light in my glasses, and I tried doing this without my glasses, but I'm blind as a bat. It is currently 10:38 p.m. on a Sunday night, and I have an early work day tomorrow, but I had to test this camera out, and I also have the perfect excuse to test this camera out because guess what got delivered early? I finally got a reading chair, and somehow it fits in this box, and we're gonna put it together. I'm sick and tired of putting furniture together, but it needs to be done, and I just need you here to hold my hand and offer some emotional support while we do it. Come on, hurry up. I'm just gonna rip this open with a screwdriver. I was going back and forth for months trying to figure out what type of chair suited my needs and this space. I've heard mixed things about how comfortable these styles of reading chairs are, or chairs are, but I just feel like it looks so cute and so cozy. This already looks like so much work. Why did I start this so late on a weekend? So there's a whole bunch of pieces, and there is a cushion buried deep down there. So if you couldn't tell by what I just showed you what kind of chair it is a papasan chair. I think that's how you say it. I've been seeing them around for years, and they just look like cozy little birds' nests to like sit in and curl up in. And how perfect is that? And I kept flip-flopping where I wanted to buy it from, but I did settle on Wayfair, and I was trying to get it on sale. It just wasn't happening, so I just pulled the trigger. But it wasn't too expensive, and I really like the color of the cushion, and you'll see why. You can probably already guess what color it is. Let me cut off all this packaging and get back to you. I'm so sad that I didn't put this together sooner. It is a crazy thunderstorm outside, which is optimal reading weather, especially on the first day of fall. Hello? We are making steady progress. At this point, I'm so over looking for furniture and looking for reading chairs that as long as I can sit in this without it crumbling to pieces underneath me, I'm good. Also, in my previous video, I did talk about reading Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I did finish it, and I don't know, I have really mixed feelings about it. It wasn't a bad read, and I know there was a foreword from Ali in the beginning where she clearly stated it was not one of her usual romance novels. It was very intentionally worded as erotic romance. I think that's the term she used. Not to spoil too much of it, but basically these two characters have gone through trauma in their lives. So both of them have their own different ways of expressing their feelings and emotions, and it's mostly through physical intimacy. And at some parts, I can see how that added to the story. And especially with the FMC, I really liked her character development throughout. You can see how she kind of went from, you know, being completely emotionally shut off. She was completely guarded. She did not want to let her walls down or get attached to anyone emotionally. She had a really hard time showing her emotions. Meanwhile, the MMC, he also went through similar traumas, but he expressed it in a very different way. But I really wanted to like the MMC because he wasn't a horrible person. But some of the ways that he spoke about the FMC, I think he used, what term was it? It didn't happen just once, it happened twice, where he referred to her as a great lay, and that was just such an ick for me. And I know this was not meant to be like a typical romance or like a meet cute, but I just did not like the way their relationship kind of put itself together. It just felt very lust heavy versus romantic. Even throughout until the end, I did not really feel like there was any real chemistry. But that was just my experience. I know people have had different experiences with it, and I can't relate to any of the traumas mentioned within the story, so maybe that's why I couldn't really put myself in the shoes of those characters and really experience the story to its fullest. But I think just the way the MMC was written kind of ruined it for me. I just didn't like him. I feel like he was a bit too controlling, and even the lines of consent I feel like was a little bit crossed. I wish I had highlighted the part where I was like, I don't like this, but it was closer to the end. But if you've read the book, please let me know your thoughts, because I know people have such mixed feelings, very strong feelings about the book. So if you've read it, let me know your thoughts, because I'd love to hear it. Okay, we have a base. You see the vision, right? I feel like this looks kind of small, but it fits in the space, so that's all I really need. Please don't make me return this. I don't know how to put it back into its packaging. That's just not gonna happen. This is what instructions should always look like. I think I can do it. I think I can do it in like 20 minutes. Also, I'm still learning all the features of this camera and trying to get the best setting for them, so bear with me. Bear with me while I figure this out. Okay, let's do this. I'm not gonna lie, this does not look very stable. There has to be an easier way of doing this. Next time I want to start something on a Sunday night, tell me to go to bed. Just tell me to go to bed. I did it. That was so much easier than it looked. I did not get a splinter, though it was very likely I could have.
A few minutes later.
Ow. Okay, I just got a splinter. I jinxed myself with that. So far, it's just a bowl. Let's put the cushion in and readjust it and see what it looks like. I do wish that I thought to get some fluffy pillows to add to this so that it's ready to go when I'm ready to use it, but that'll be another thing I need to look for. This is vacuum sealed, but if you didn't guess already what color my cushion is, it's green. Duh. Someone said that green is the new millennial gray. Shut up. Shut up. Just, if you like a color, you like a color. And if it's your home, it's your home. Decorate it the way you want to, because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live in it and live with it. Oh, this is so big. Look how cushiony this cushion is. Okay, wait, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. It actually looks so good with the carpet. Okay, let me put this together and take it all in on my own, and then I'll show you guys. I'll keep you right back. I'm so out of breath right now, and wearing a sweater was a bad idea because I am sweating. But Look at how cute this looks. That is going to be my reading corner. I think I'm gonna put like a lamp or something behind there to kind of give me some backlight as I read. And I also need more books over there, obviously, but that will come. Now the real test is to sit in it. Why does this not feel secure? I've heard that this thing can move around a lot, but I do have zip ties somewhere in the house, so I need to find those to secure it, to keep it from shifting around while I'm sitting in it. But for now, let's try sitting in it, and hopefully I don't fall out of it. Well, I'll definitely need to secure this somehow because it is shifting around, but this is crazy comfortable. I could sleep here. I think what I'm going to do is maybe get like a little ottoman or a footstool so I have a place to rest my feet. And there you go, I have a reading spot. This is really cozy. I feel like a little bird in its nest. Do you see the vision? Anyways, I'm so glad I have you here with me while I add the finishing touches to my library. I'm really happy with this. I will have to make some adjustments to make it completely my own and to make this a bit more cozy, but I think this chair was a good choice. Let me know if you want to get the exact same chair. I'd be more than happy to share the link with you, and it could be cozy little birds together. In the meantime, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you're reading something fun. Talk to you soon.